guys!
Hey!
Welcome back to Y'all Hearing This. My name is Kay. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us for the podcast.
Yes, and my name is Honeybee, or you can call me B, and whichever you choose is all right with me.
That's right.
Yes, this week's group chat.
We've been having so much fun. So we're doing Mamamoo this
Mm-hmm.
week. So every Wednesday we pick a certain artist or group to focus on. And we do a couple of MVs, we do dance practice, some lives, and then we do some guides or a guide. Although this is the case, we had two, but kind of half of each other. And then, we do the podcast, which is where you're at now. So
Yes.
and talk about
so
it all.
here for it.
Yeah, this was, they're so good. I think when we listened to Hip,
We're talking about Mamamoo.
yes. Yeah, I think when we first listened to Hip, I was like, okay, all right, okay. And then every single song I've heard since then or thing I've seen from them or anything like that has been...
It's just so good.
Mm-hmm.
They literally are just... There's something that reminds me of like the way that we grew up and the different versions of almost like female empowerment through music. We've seen like the Bangles, the Go-Go's. Then you have your, TLCs, your Holes, your like all of them, Destiny's Child, Alanis Morissette's. Like, it's just like that idea of what we've always seen. Like, that's what I feel when I like listen to them. And like, I just want to go back to that guide that we watched. As Kay was talking about, as part of our weekly, group that we choose or artists that we choose, we watch a guide to kind of learn more about them. And I think this week's guide was so special because one,
the best I've ever seen.
I can honestly say, like, shout out to, who was that? Purple Hawk. Purple Hawk. Okay,
yes.
Purple
and
Hawk.
that was from you guys. You guys all, so many people.
Yeah.
When we watched Tip, so many people asked us to watch that. So I was super excited.
Yes. I loved that one. They split it into two so you can really get to know each girl in the group. And what I love is I really got a sense of who each of them are. Like, I could see that Solar is the leader of the group. I can see, like, she's the main vocalist. Like, I could see that she has almost like that motherly feel to her. You know what I mean? And then you have Moon, and Moon is like, if Solar is the mom of the group, then I feel like, and she's the dad. I feel like Moon is more of like the muscle of the group. And like, coincidentally,
even though Solar really is the muscle. As we saw in the guide.
Right. Yeah. Right. And it's just like,
but yeah, Moon definitely gives me that vibe of like,
yes.
You know what I mean?
Moon reminds me.
Probably would never, but it was so funny. I don't know.
Yeah, like, she reminds me that she is that. She reminds me of, there was a movie, and I can't remember what movie it was, but basically the main character in the movie was this dude who literally would be on his phone, and he ran like a multi-billion-dollar company, and he would just be on his phone, and he'd just be quiet. He'd be doing his own thing. They would talk to him. He'd be like, hey, mad chill. Would go back on his phone, walk around with no shoes on. Yeah. Would go to like the hot dog stand. Multi-billionaire. Go to a hot dog stand to get a hot dog. Like, so down to earth and so chill. And like, that's what Moon reminds me of. And I really connected to Moon based off of her idea of the way the gender norms and whatnot within the industry, really within K-pop music. But in general though. And I really liked how she really kind of talked about the whole androgyny idea and how, and we were saying this earlier when we were talking about the when we were watching the guide and talking about how there's like a male and masculine, and then there's like a gray area. And it's like, they're both so powerful and have so many different aspects. Why does there have to be a middle? And that's what Moon was really saying, was like, what do you mean there's a line? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there shouldn't be a line. It's just the best of both worlds. Why wouldn't you want both of them? And I completely relate to that. Yeah. And I love it. And like, my whole life, for me personally, like, I've always grown up with people either calling me a girl or calling me a boy or this or that, and constantly going back and forth and just making it a thing. And it's just kind of like, I am just who I am. Like, yes, I personally identify as male, but there are female things that I like and there are male things that I like. And I'm going to rock with both of them.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
It's not bad because females and anything that is, you know, remotely feminine, I think is absolutely powerful. And if you don't think it is, help yourself.
Right.
But like, you know, and then there's things about masculinity that, you know, I think of like confidence and like standing for myself. And it's just this, why separate it? And I just love that about Moon.
I really love anyone who plays with gender roles. It's been one of those things, especially with artists. Like, I mean, one of my absolute favorites growing up was like David Bowie, Queen even. You know, they really took that and flipped it on its head and said, hey, you know what? Like, we may dress this way or look this certain way, but we're still going to rock the hell out of you. And like, you know what I mean? And like put out this amazing, amazing music. And I love that. And yeah, it's so great to see, especially in a country that is very conservative like Korea, to see it. It must be so empowering to so many people, which is amazing, you know. And I know that's not why she does it, but it's awesome that she is who she is and that she shows it. Right. You know what I mean?
And then going to the second part, we ended up learning more about
Hien and Wasa.
Yes. Yeah, and I was going to say, because I wanted to say Wien. It's Hien.
Yeah, so the W is kind of like silent, like you add like a little to it.
Yeah.
Hien. Kind of like Wasa.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really say the H, but
it's
kind of there,
Hasa,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Wasa, you know.
I love it. I thought what I really liked about Wien is the idea of the tone of her voice.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Mariah Carey fan. And like her airy like falsetto is just so dope. And I also like that she is like the R&B chick. And that's like right up my realm. And she is super duper dope. And I love the covers that she was doing, that they were featuring of her doing.
And that the artists like came out and were like, you know, wanted to work with her and stuff.
Yes,
that's so cool.
I would die to see it. Yes. Oh my God. Kehlani would be so dope.
I could see their voices very well together. I think it would be amazing.
I think it would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
But girl, we gotta get to Hasa. Hwasa. Wasta.
Well, I know who my bias is, and it hasn't changed. It's like a split because Moonby will break, you know, but is my wrecker. But yeah, Hwasa. Yeah, she is just like it. Like, I love her voice, and then she raps. I do love a rapper, and a female rapper especially.
I live for a raspy voice.
Yeah, but it's like her tone and everything is so beautiful. And then she is just beautiful inside and out.
She is so effortlessly in her bag. Like, the thing that gets me about her is like, she knows she's the shit. Like, she knows she is, and she does not run with an ego with it either.
Yeah,
like, and I think it's because of the things she's been through. It took her a while to get there. So now that she's here, she's like, I've been through a lot of shit to get here, and now I know I'm the shit. I love
that what she said about being called Queen Hwasa, like how she took it and doesn't say it pridefully, but she takes it because she knows that the fans gave it to her with love, and so she tries to live up to it.
Yes,
you know, like that is a queen.
That's a queen. That's a queen because she's doing it for the people.
Yep.
Period. With your crown, girl. You know what I'm saying? She just seems like one of the whole, like, I would love to hang out with her. And she's a hugger. Yeah. I love a hugger. Yeah. She's super duper dope. Like, she just made me want to be better. Yeah. Just watching her words in her speech. I can't
tell you how often that happens to me. Earlier today, someone posted something that like Hongjoon from ATEEZ had said that made me cry. And it was all about, you know, I'm paraphrasing here. I can't remember the exact phrase, but something about how, you know, we're having such a great time together now. And like, I hope, you know, we always be part of your life. And like, if you hear my voice in the future, I hope it makes you happy. Like if you just randomly hear my voice, you know what I mean? And like the thought of that.
It's like the impact.
Yeah. Like the thought of like just randomly hearing someone's voice and that making you so happy, you know, I want to be that. You know what I mean?
It's like, I want to have that impact. Like, I want to have that impact on other people's lives. And I like, that's such a beautiful thing because again, I feel like this is why there's such a distinct difference between the K-pop industry as a whole compared to anything outside of it. No matter what country or what genre, is because like, I truly feel like these artists really like genuinely are like, I really care about my impact. They're not talking about, am I going to have this car or that car? They're not talking about, am I going to be this famous or that famous? They're not talking about material stuff. They're talking about...
Some of them do, but in more of like a, you know what I mean? Like at the base.
I'm saying like,
base, it's not that.
Right. Like, in a like, when they get real serious about it and they actually, when people actually ask them, like, why do you do this?
Their intentions are not that.
Yeah. Their intentions have always been like, we want to have a lasting impact. Like, it makes me think of Beyonce's I Was Here. Like, that song was like, I want to leave my, you know, footprints in the sands of time. Like, I want to know that everything I did meant something.
Yeah.
And, you know, I changed the life and all that. So that's dope.
And you know what? Like, not to get too cheesy, but like, I kind of like that so much about like what we're doing here. It's like, you know, I know that we're not on any sort of level like them or anything like that. But, you know, we get the loveliest comments sometimes of people who are just like, you know, you guys are so friendly and we really like that, blah, blah, blah. And like, I just love that too. You know, the fact that even if like one person ever. Yeah,
it just felt like you guys really just changed whatever, or
maybe the way them even a little bit, or like made them less sad.
Just touch somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Touch somebody's lives.
Like that's the coolest thing in the world. That's the coolest.
That's a hard win.
And you guys are all awesome. So.
Yes, you are. Yes. For real. It's just a hard one. We gotta come up with a name for the people that support us.
I know.
I just thought about that. I mean, it would be very on brand.
We need a fandom name.
For real. What are we gonna call them?
I know. I have no idea. You guys leave us some suggestions.
Right?
That would be fun.
Right? Like, I don't even know. We have to combine something that's like being a unicorn. Yeah, like, unicorn stingers. Something. Like, what? I'm dead.
We promise it won't be the stingers.
It won't be the stingers. I'm dead.
The beanicorn.
A beanicorn. Oh, the beanicorns.
We'll figure it out.
The unibees. The unibees.
That's cute. That's cute.
I like the unibees.
We'll put a poll up.
Yeah, we should put a poll. You guys should send us some suggestions.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
We'll put a poll up.
What is our fandom going to be called? I live.
That's so funny.
It's not going to be the stingers.
No, we promise.
But yeah, back to the guys that we saw. Yeah. Like, there's just something that's very special about pasta.
Yes.
And I feel that we need more of that.
Yes.
Like, we need more of Mamamoo as a whole. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we had said this in, you know, previous videos when we've watched other groups and stuff like that. It's really, really, like, it's a really sought after skill to be an individual within a group and to still, like, work as a group to create something really special. That's even bigger and special. You know what I mean? As a whole. Like, there's just, it's not easy. And it almost seems like from the jump, they were like that.
Yeah.
There was just something special from the very first video that we saw when they debuted in 2014, I think it was.
Yeah, pretty much Mr. Ambiguous, which is their first.
Yeah. Like, that whole, it was just like something special. You know what I mean? And it's now I do have a question though. And this is our podcast, so we can look it up right now if we wanted to.
Yeah.
But they are still together currently, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I noticed that in the guide, depending on when the guide was made, it mentioned, like, it showed the years of them. Like, and every year it would show, like, a quick clip of what they released that year. And it stopped at 2019.
Oh, I think, well, they did show a couple things from 2020.
Or 2020 or something.
But that guide might have been made then.
Okay, maybe that's why.
What was I going to say? I know, actually, Solar and... was it Moonville just released a song together?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I know, and they're touring actually. I just recently was in Atlanta for Stray Kids, and they're going there too. So
no way.
Yeah. I know.
I wonder what it is about Atlanta.
Yeah, I don't. Well, let me tell you, that was the most comfortable seats I've ever been in for like an arena.
Wait. Sidebar. Can we just talk about this? Because you have to explain this to everybody. Kay went on a fabulous trip.
Yes.
Okay, and got her entire life.
And
I'm sure you've seen it.
Yeah.
But if you haven't, Kay, girl, take it away. Tell everybody what you did.
Yeah.
And why we're talking about Atlanta.
Yeah, so I back in like September, I bought tickets to Stray Kids, and it was a spur of the moment type of thing. I think I'd only been listening to them for like a month or something at that point. Like, it was not long. And the closest they were coming is Atlanta, and we live in Rhode Island. So, so I made a whole trip of it. I went down for a couple of days. I had an amazing time. I met a ton of people at the concert that were so great. I went like exploring that day. I went to like the Georgia Aquarium and the Civil Rights Museum. And
word.
Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. So I did video the concert, which is up. You guys can go watch that. It was seriously, that's the first time I've ever traveled alone. Like, I've flown alone plenty of times, but like to go see people, you know what I mean? But it was like super freeing in a way. Like, I was afraid I was just gonna like sit in my bed, my hotel room like the entire time. You know what I mean? But no, I like went out all the time. Yeah,
we should jump back to that.
Yeah,
that would be a really good Say What corner about traveling alone and meeting people at concerts and shows and stuff. That you've never. Like, if you've ever been, like, nervous or thought about it or anything.
Someone asked me about that the other day, a coworker of mine, because we were talking about it. And she's like, I've never been to a concert alone. I'm like, well, you already know that everyone there enjoys that part. So you already have that in common. You know what I mean? So it was super easy to, like, and there were thankfully people there that were, like, my age. Granted, they were there with their daughters and stuff, but still, we could like chat and stuff. So it wasn't like me and like a 14-year-old. So which was good.
It'd be like,
I was a little afraid of that because I was like, I just didn't want to be the weirdo.
Yeah, I feel you. And that's like, we need to change that. It's not being a weirdo.
Well, you know what I mean.
I get what you're saying. Now, if it was like a kid's concert, I'd be like, girl, we need to talk. But
yeah. No, definitely not a kid's concert. No. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. Like, it was like, yeah.
So it's funny, Stray Kids. So I think we talked about this a little bit before. I'm sorry. This is a Mamamoo podcast. I swear I'm getting back to that in a second.
Yeah.
But Stray Kids, so they have them broken up. So there's 3 Racha, which are like the producers and stuff and the rappers. And then they have Dance Racha. And then they have Vocal Racha, you know, so they call them that. So they call like older fans Nuna Racha because Nuna means kind of like auntie, like older sister.
Yes, come on, auntie.
So I'm a Nuna Racha.
You gotta be an auntie.
I'm a Nuna Racha.
An auntie in a different culture, girl. Right. Yes, come on, auntie.
That's right. So it's like a love, like I want to feed them and make sure they sleep well. Love.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like that's my love of them. You know what I mean?
Well, so, because I know you said Mamamoo is going to be in Atlanta, and we were saying, like, what is it about Atlanta that, like...
I think it's just, like, it's so, like, everything was super easy to get to and everything, and, I mean, it's a, big place, the place was really nice, it was at the State Farm Arena, like I said, the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in, at a concert, or anything, But yeah, it was just, I think it's just kind of central. I don't know if they're coming any closer. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, that was unfortunately the closest Stray Kids were coming.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But yeah, it was so much fun.
Oh, I would love to see.
Literally, I ate lunch. There's like this little thing. It's across from like the Olympic Park, and it's like where the aquarium is and stuff. And they posted pictures like that day that they had been there the day before, like right where I was eating. I was like, and I guess they had gone to the aquarium the day before. I was like,
Imagine if you were there a day earlier.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, back to Mamamoo. I'm sorry, that was my little Stray Kids.
No, you're good. It's a good segue. But no, that's super dope, and I would love to see Mamamoo.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I will look and see if they're coming closer, because if they are coming to like New York or something, we should go.
Yeah, because that's fire, because they look like they put on a good show.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
That would be such a great concert.
Can you imagine?
That would be such a great concert.
Just thinking about it, I'm like, ooh.
I know. That would be amazing. Just their vocals, and then they just so I've been watching Queendom, so those are gonna be they'll start tomorrow from when you're watching this.
Oh yeah,
Sorry, I had to think about it. So I loved Kingdom so much, and I wanted to check out Queendom. And yeah, we've got Mamamoo, we've got Idol, we've got a couple others that have been like great discoveries too. So, but they're so good. They're so good on there, and it's fun to see because you do see kind of a behind the scenes portion of it too. So you get that kind of part of it too. So yeah. Yeah. And maybe I'll have B watch some of the performances, kind of like what we did with Kingdom. I don't know. Maybe it's happening. Maybe it's happening tomorrow. I don't know. You never know.
Well, why don't we go ahead and segue on over, since we're talking about the greatness that is Mamamoo.
Yes.
And we're talking about female, and male, androgynous energies and power and just equality all around. I figured we'd do for B's Nectar of the Week.
Yes.
The group that I chose is a group that consists of 3 women who are extremely powerful in each of their own ways. I instantly thought of these girls when we first saw Mamamoo and when they were performing and whatnot. And I just love what they represent, and I feel like this girl group represents the same thing that Mamamoo does. So I, of course, picked TLC.
I thought you were gonna say
it. You knew I was gonna ask. You knew I had to pick TLC.
I was like, yep.
Oh, so let me give y'all.
Well, let's do this super quick. Nectar of the Week. So every week, B's gonna kind of listen to the group that and watch the group and kind of see what they're all about, and then give you guys some suggestions as to a group or songs from a group that kind of remind him of that. Something that like he and I grew up listening to.
Kind of like, basically incorporating the sounds that we grew up listening to, and just showing you from another different culture and a different style of music and all of that. Just kind of like giving you,
because it could be like the music reminds you, or it could be just like the feel of the group.
Yeah, it's like the energy, all of that. Because it could have been a rock group.
Yeah, music is so universal.
Right.
I love it.
Literally, it really could have been like,
Yeah.
So I had to pick TLC.
Yes, I love it.
Okay.
I should have worn my TLC shirt.
Yeah! That bitch stand up.
That you gave me.
Yes! The TLC shirt. Yes! I live. Come on, crazy, sexy, cool.
That's right.
All right, so TLC is an American girl group formed in Atlanta, Georgia.
No, oh, that's funny. Oh, that's right. I forgot they were from Maytown.
And they were formed in 1990.
Wow, was it really? Wow.
The group's best known lineup is composed of Tion T-Boz Watkins, Lisa Left Eye Lopes, and Razonda Chili Thomas.
I don't think I ever knew Chili's real name. Okay.
The group enjoyed success during the 90s with 9 top 10 hits, including the Billboard on the Billboard Hot 100, including 4 number 1 Billboard Hot 100 hits for Creep, Waterfalls, No Scrubs, and Unpretty.
Nice.
The group came out first with their debut album in 1992 called Ooh on the TLC Tip, which has a whole lot of just very like empowering songs. I definitely recommend listening to What About Your Friends?
Oh, What About Your Friends?
Yes. What About Your Friends is the jam. A song that reminds me of Mamamoo hardcore every time I listen to it off that album is a song called Baby, Baby, Baby.
Okay.
And it's like, baby, 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 I got so much love in me. Like, that is just like the vibes and just like the whole feel of it. And it reminds me of, because like T-Boz has that raspy voice. And that reminds me so much of Hassan, like, and how she like just sings and how she goes about, you know what I mean? Just that part of her voice. But then Lisa reminds me of, Left Eye reminds me of Moon and of Masa too, both of them. And then Chili reminds me of, I always pronounce it wrong. Is it Hien? Hien and Solar.
Yeah.
Because it's just her angelic voice and she literally can sing to the heavens and come right back down. So it's it's just that diversity is just so dope. But they really blew up when their second album came out, which was Crazy Sexy Cool in 1994, which received a diamond certification from the RIAA, which is the Recording Industry Association of America. Crazy Sexy Cool going diamond means that it sold over 10 million copies in the US alone, which is a big deal. And that album had their huge, I feel like probably one of their most well-known, if not well-known songs, Waterfalls.
So I still remember watching that video again and again and again and again.
Yes. Which, side note, for a long time, that was the most expensive music video ever created.
Yeah, do you remember when they had all the water? CGI back in the day.
Yeah. And that was the most, until Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson did their song Scream.
Oh, I love that song too. I love that
music video. Can you imagine? Okay, think about that music video. Can you imagine that video cost $7 million to make?
Wow.
Like, what?
And now it would be like $10 in a computer.
Right, for real.
Well, not really.
For real.
That's not what I don't mean it looks cheap, because it doesn't.
Right, it doesn't.
I just mean
the way,
technology.
The technology now, it's like you can like sneeze and create it, whereas back then you had to have all the extras. Crazy.
Wow.
So definitely off of their album Crazy Sexy Cool, I would definitely listen to Waterfalls.
Of course.
Listen to Creep is definitely right up the realm of Mamamoo. Like, and so there's a song on there called Digging on You. That is very much like the sound of Mamamoo. Like Digging on You from Crazy Sexy Cool by TLC. Definitely listen to that.
Yeah.
And then it goes on to the group. They also became the first R&B group in history to receive the Million certification from the Recording Industry Association of Japan for their 1999 album Fan Mail, which came out after the group had to file bankruptcy, and there was just a lot of bad deals that were done in the 90s.
Yes.
Especially towards R&B artists, and especially towards women. Just period. Groups are not. Like, women are just completely treated differently.
People take advantage of youth and
hardcore.
And the artists that just can't wait to like get out there and be creating.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they think, I'll take anything.
Yeah. Literally. And so definitely off that album from 1999's Fan Mail, which is probably my personal favorite album, because I was 11 when that album came out, and I played it out. and it's so diverse. TLC is known to have such diverse music. Whether it's rock, pop, acoustic, R&B, it's all on that. And if you were looking for an album by TLC that most sounds like Mamamoo, I would say listen to 1999's Fan Mail. It has No Scrubs on it. It has a song on there called Dear Lie, which is very, very like Mamamoo ready. Okay. So I would listen to DLI. I would definitely listen to No Scrubs. I would listen to I'm Good at Being Bad. That is like, I'm Good at Being Bad is probably like, I would love to hear Mamamoo cover that song.
Yeah.
I'm Good at Being Bad would be so dope. And then it says, having sold 95 million records worldwide, TLC is the best-selling American girl group of all time, or one of the best. VH1 ranked TLC as the greatest female group, placing them at number 12 on their list of 100 greatest women in music. Billboard magazine ranked TLC as one of the greatest music trios of all time and the 7th most successful act of the 1990s.
Wow.
And they've gotten a ton of awards, from Grammys to VMAs to Soul Train Music Awards. And then 20 years after their debut, TLC was honored with an Outstanding Contribution to Music Award at the Mobile Awards.
Oh, nice.
And then they received the Legend Award at the 2013 MTV VMA Japan. The Video Music Awards for Japan. Yeah. And then, unfortunately, in 2002, while on a spiritual journey overseas, Left Eye, who is the MC and rapper of the group, died in a car crash. And they never replaced her. They had no plans on replacing her. They released 2 more albums after that. One was in 2004 for their album 3D, which is also another really good, diverse album. I definitely recommend listening to. And then they released their eponymous 5th album titled TLC, which they considered their final album. And they are still together. They still perform. They still tour, but they are not going to release any more new music.
Gotcha.
They're just going to focus on what they have. And T-Boz and Chili are still out here doing things.
That's awesome. Coldplay's doing that after one more album. They're officially like...
Coldplay?
Yeah.
No way!
One more album and then that's it. Like they'll do things with different artists, and I think they said they'll still tour and do things.
Right, but they're not going to release any more new music. I mean, that should be a really good Say What corner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to segue into Say What?
Yeah, so I have to say,
Yes.
so, in, was it November, I believe, Jin from BTS did his song with them at the Astronaut.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to go see, they had it at the movie theater, you could see one of their concerts.
Mm.
And first of all, this concert was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in Argentina, I believe, maybe. Or maybe it was Brazil.
Mm.
I'm sorry, it was in South America. And the entire concert, they use like recycled like oils and stuff like that to run like the generators and stuff. On the floor, they had people could like bike and it would help like create energy for the show. And they had like kinetic pads that people, if you dance on it, it like also helps create energy and stuff like that. Yeah. They give everyone like a wristband, so it's kind of like the light stick.
Yeah.
And it lights up and does different things and whatever, but it's all like recycled stuff. And
that's fire.
Yeah, so, and like everywhere they go, they give money for different initiatives and stuff like that. So they wanted it to be like a zero impact to the environment, like their tour. Wow. Including like even like their plane trips and things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they really worked hard to like come up with things like that. But let me tell you, I don't think I realized how many hits they had until I watched that. Because it was just like one after another, after another, after another, after another, after another.
So many.
And I was like, wow. And like, don't get me wrong, I really like Coldplay. I really love...
Yellow is my favorite song.
I love...
Them. And wait, what's the...
Clocks, maybe?
Yes.
The Scientist.
Yes. Yeah. Clocks is like, that song.
Yeah. There used to be this remix that they would play at like the clubs that because I used to go to the gay clubs like Thursday
I love it.
Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah, shout out to Girls Night. Girl Spot. Do you remember, what was the other one? Mermaids Out?
Yeah, I think so.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Oh man. No, we used to go. Thursday was Pulse, or it used to be. Mm-hmm. And then I think it turned into Mirror Bar. No, Friday was Mirror Bar. Oh God, I can't even remember anymore. Sunday, an old roommate of mine used to DJ a tea dance, so we used to go. It was you remember the Complex? God. It was whenever that it turned into like something else. I can't remember, but yeah, that was where they had the tea dance. And then we went to the Strand.
Did you ever go to platforms? Nobody ever went.
I can't remember. I don't think so.
Platforms was a spot in Rhode Island, y'all. That was considered like the urban R&B, like hip hop. They played pop and all that too, but it was just it was. You had to have been there. It was a time.
Yeah.
It was a time.
Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, but I hugely remember listening to that around that time. But I had their first couple albums, and I really loved the whole thing. Like I could listen to. That was like my go to sleep CD I'd put on. You know,
okay.
CD.
I live.
How old I am. But yeah, but. Watching that concert, it was just like I bawled my eyes out several times, but and then they had Jin come out and stuff, so it was really cool. And they did a song together with BTS called My Universe, so they did that, and I don't know, it was just so good, and it officially made me like completely fall in love with them the way that I've fallen in love with K-pop groups, because of like all the behind the scenes stuff that I saw with them with BTS and with them with Jin, because truly Chris Martin is just like one of the sweetest human beings. Yeah. And so they performed The Astronaut on SNL without Jin because he's in the military. And he wore like the little like pin and he had like a little.
So did they announce during that show that they were like
No, it was just
it was like after, like sometime after.
Even after, I think that's all it, like I think they said like we're doing like 3 more albums, and that was a couple albums ago.
Wow. Yep. And then they're like done.
Yeah, I mean, now, like I said, I think they're still gonna tour and do things like that. But
do you think, how does that like, so I guess the reason I figured it'd be really good to talk about in our like say what section is which Say What is basically just like a palate cleanser. Like just talk. Yeah. We can talk about what we were talking about, or just kind of whatever. Just kind of wrapping things up.
Yeah. Sometimes we have a plan. Most of the time we
don't. We just kind of go right. Do you feel that artists should? Do you feel like there's at a certain point where like artists should kind of like just, I mean, I don't know how do I say this, because I feel like you should always create music. Like if you feel like it's in your heart and in your soul, you should always create. But also I don't hate the idea of, you know, somebody being like if Tina Turner, perfect example. Tina Turner was just like,
I think as long as it's making you happy, do what's making you happy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that goes for every member of a group or a band, or if it's a solo artist, them. Like, if you still want to make music, great. You know what I mean? And if you want to make it together, wonderful. We're here for it. We want to listen to it, you know? But if it's making you unhappy, or if you need to step away, I mean, there's so many different options. Like, I mean, even randomly to talk about like Tool. So Maynard has 2 other groups that he works, you know what I mean? So like he can kind of like, if Tool itself isn't doing something, he can still take that creative outlet and go do something else. So, you know, and some people just leave music altogether. They're just burnt out, whatever it may be, you know, just want to do something different. That's great too. I think it's really up to individuals and where they're at in their life and what makes them happy, you know? And I truly hope that people like can accept that and be okay with it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Coldplay, they're not like breaking up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no. They're just not, because there's a lot. I mean, I think people don't realize how much work goes into making an album. And also too, and I think about this all the time, and I'm just going to use her as a reference, but when I think of Mariah Carey, like when Mariah Carey came out, anything she touched just like remotely went multi-platinum and went #1. Yeah. And, you know, she would talk about how her albums, because of the turnaround, like they would be really fast to make. Yeah. But like, if you watch artists as they become more seasoned over the years, it's not as just like a quick turnaround. Now it's like, well, I want to be more specific with what I'm saying. I want to be more intentional and all this other stuff. So in turn,
the creative process might take longer.
It takes longer. Now imagine having a creative process take longer. Mariah Carey talked about one of her last albums, her last studio album to come out in 2018 is called Caution. And while it came out, a lot of people were hardcore critics of just the overall sound in the sense of where her vocals were. Maybe, you know, she wasn't necessarily hitting these big crazy notes like she was on Emancipation of Mimi or all these other albums.
Which was how many years ago now?
Right.
Come on.
Right. And so Mariah Carey...
changed, you know?
Right. Well, Mariah Carey talked about... And here's the crazy part is like the music that Mariah has released after 2018, like her vocals are like just as strong as when people say it's her prime and all that other stuff, which is like forever. But like her voice sounded even better after this album came out. So it was interesting to look at it. And Mariah did an interview and she said that album, because of the way the industry is now, like her record label at the time just wanted to put it out. Yeah. And Mariah was like, I make the songs and then I go back to them because she's like, as you become more seasoned, you know your voice and your voice changes. So there are certain days where I can go into the studio and hit all these big notes, but then I need to like let my voice rest for a little while and then go do it again. But like, because of how the industry is, they didn't let her do that. Right, so they just pushed out what she had, which can almost be for her, she was like considered to be demos of the songs. Yeah. And now she has to go and push that out. And it's like all the work that went in to do that, that was her most acclaimed album in her whole career. Like she got the most positive reviews, the highest marks on it, and all this other stuff. But it was like one of her, if not lowest selling albums. And it's like,
isn't it funny how like I find that happens all the time, is that people release something that has like more of like an intention, a thought behind it or something, or like has a different concept or whatever. And the critics love it and then no one buys it. I hate that.
And it's like, and the thing that is so crazy about it, and when you think about it, is like, I can see why, like, if Mariah Carey chose not to ever release another album. Yeah. Because now all that work went into that and it didn't do well. Now, you know, artists are only making money now mainly through touring, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or a majority of their money. And it's like, so I could see why, like, as an artist, if Coldplay, if Mariah Carey, if BTS, like, if all these people were just like, I'm not doing it anymore, like, I'm just gonna go and tour, you know, TLC, like, they have the catalog to do that. Yeah. Yep. You know what I mean? As new as BTS is, if they decided to never make it out, you know what I mean?
10 years now, they've been together.
If they decided to never release another album, they could literally like tour.
Albums.
Right. They literally can tour off their music.
Oh, they absolutely could.
Right.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, as a fan,
no,
I'm like,
no, I want more.
I want more. You know what I mean? So it's always like that.
I'm sure it's not like we may never, ever, ever again get a Coldplay song. You know what I mean?
We might get a song, but like a whole album. Well, you never know. You might get an album. People change their minds. Right, I mean, how many times did Jay-Z retire? Like
Cher's farewell.
Right. Cher said farewell like 5 decades ago.
I saw Cher's farewell tour 25 years ago. Yep, probably about that. Yeah. So yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then she just came out with an album.
Yeah, exactly.
An album like 2-3 years ago. The ABBA album.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was right after Believe came out.
Yep. Well, so you're saying you saw her right after Believe came out. Okay.
But it was a farewell tour.
Yeah, it was like a farewell. Okay.
See, that was what, 25 years ago, right? About that anyway.
Yes, I am.
That's right.
No, but I think at the end of the day, like, just create music just to, you know.
Yeah, I don't want someone like forced to go into a studio and make something, because that doesn't do anything for anybody. You know what I mean?
And actually, I feel like there's an artist. Let me think about it. It might have been Lily Allen.
Okay.
And I could be wrong. It was Joss Stone. I had to think about it. There's an artist who literally went in just to get out of like her contract and all that stuff. And her album was called Free Me. And every song was talking about, like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, every song was talking about the politics of like music and shit. But it was just kind of like, it was one of those things. She was like, I'm tired. I'm done. I'm done with it. And but then, you know, she ended up coming out with more music after. But, you know, people are tired and done. I would rather them be tired and done.
It's so funny because like BTS now they're releasing all this like solo stuff and they must have been working so hard on it, you know, but I feel like they feel like it's a break because they're not like, because BTS is just so much.
Right.
And so big and so everything that like, I think even them doing a whole full album on their own is more restful.
Right. Right.
You know,
right.
the touring and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, but I do know they love to like put on concerts and stuff too. But but it's just so funny.
That's
that, like
so
them
funny.
like RM making this like masterpiece of an album was like a break.
Right. The mess. The mess of it all. I mean,
so funny.
that's how I think. I mean, I think the same thing about Destiny's Child.
Yeah, yeah.
They went on a break, and then Beyonce just became Beyonce. Yep. And Kelly became Kelly, and Michelle became Michelle.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy when you think about it. But sometimes, you know, breaks work.
Yep, I know.
You know
Sometimes they do.
But
and I just wish. I mean, every group, every artist, I just want them to be happy in whatever way, whatever way that is. And I hope it's making more music for us to listen to. But if it's not,
and they're empowered to, you know.
Yeah, and they're empowered is great too.
Yeah,
they're empowered to be whoever the heck they want, just like Mamamoo.
I was bring it all the way back. I was like, come on, just like Mamamoo.
That's right. Wrap this up.
Right.
Let's wrap it up.
Because Mamamoo done, listen, Mamamoo done started it, okay? Oh my God.
They're amazing. I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
I thank you guys so much for joining us over here. That was we cannot wait to hear more from them.
Yes, and I can't wait to hear their solo stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see more of their Queendom performances. Yes, all that great stuff. So until next time.
We love you guys so much.
Yes, love you.